Now, the story that we're going to talk about is a story that has been around for a second, but we're going to give you our insight because y'all ain't heard it yet. Now, we are talking about Monique, and she has now entered the Color Purple chat and has called out Oprah, and she says that Oprah got caught allowing mistreatment on set. Now, Taraji P. Henson's The Color Purple confessions about conditions on set have everybody talking, and Monique entered the chat to call out Oprah and amid her storied history of issues with the media mogul. Now, fans and industry insiders are alike pointed fingers at different people behind the blockbuster film's lackluster accommodations for the stars. Some blame day-to-day producers and production managers. Others accuse the studio, Warner Brothers, of shortcoming or shortchanging the Black cast members. In an exclusive interview with The Root, Monique says her collaborator turned enemy, Oprah Winfrey, is ultimately responsible. She weighed in on Taraji's comments about filming The Color Purple and how the industry systematically mistreats Black women. This is Oprah's quote. So whenever I heard that there was something that someone needed, I, not in charge of the budget because that's Warner Brothers, that's the way the studio system works. Whenever I heard that there was an issue or there was a problem, there was cars or food or whatever the situation, I could make it right. And I believe that she would even vouch for that and say that is true. However, Monique wasn't buying it. She claimed the fact that Oprah could personally resolve those issues was proof she wasn't standing on business from the start. Now, according to Monique, she says everything was, didn't I champion for y'all? Stop it. You didn't champion for those Black women, for our sisters, Monique fired back. What she did was, we can treat them like we always treat them. Who gonna check me, boo? I'm Oprah Winfrey. You know everything you should have done when you showed up. Now, when you hear our beautiful sisters saying, yeah, but it got fixed, it's like we're making it worse. And Monique did not stop there. She says, so when Oprah Winfrey sits at the helm and Taraji P. Henson says it's an honor that we were handpicked for this movie, well, if they were handpicked for that movie, those women should have been taken care of from the moment go. Now, her husband, Sidney, also jumped in the conversation because he gonna jump in and
Daddy was talking.
Right. He says Oprah got caught. That's what happened. Monique said, doubling down on her decisions and criticism. So here we are having this conversation about what we think could have happened. I'll let you go first, Lioness, and how are you feeling about this conversation and Monique finally speaking up about it?
This is a conversation where on the surface, it sounds like Monique is advocating for these women. It sounds like it's plausible that Oprah could have on purpose, slighted these women or thought she could get away and pull a fast one by mistreating these women. But there was a conversation that I had with you, George, and I want to give you back the floor because George gave me some additional information. And this is why knowledge is power, y'all, because there's additional context here on how these things actually work. And because initially I thought Oprah was at fault here, but George, tell them some additional information that can give them some different insight.
Well, first of all, Oprah's job was a producer. And as a producer, what you do is you come to the table with the movie company. You secure the rights to the movie. You decide who you think the best actors would be in this movie. You decide you help make the decision on what the budget should be for the film. You decide, you secure those things that would make the movie move forward. That's what a producer does. You maybe even get a casting director. I think this casting director has that right eye. These are the people that I think that are that's what the producer does. They hand that over to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers says, okay, we're going to give you the budget for this. We're going to greenlight this. We're going to cover the costs. Now, once you hand it over to the movie company, they handle the day-to-day. The technicians, the writers, the lights, the film crew, the tech crew, they handle all of that. The catering, the transportation, they do all of that. So with that being said, Oprah hands it over to the movie company and they do the day-to-day. Now, what probably happened was because they had a relationship, Taraji and Oprah, she said, girl, you can't believe what Warner Brothers is doing. They doing XYZ. Oprah's like, oh my God. Well, she's Oprah Winfrey. She has direct connection to anybody that's really in the business. So I'm going to call my girlfriend. And so Oprah makes the call and it's fixed. Now, here's the hindsight, ladies and gentlemen. You can Google this. There was a gentleman, I think his first name was Tommy or something. I remember hearing this conversation. Now, this Tommy person was working at Warner Brothers as an executive at the time that Color Purple was being filmed. Tommy no longer works there, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just saying that there was probably a ball dropped. But because Oprah is the most visible, and we know her name, we don't know Tommy, we don't know those other executives at Warner Brothers, it all falls back on Oprah. And I think that's what it is. And I think Monique still has a little bit of a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah, there's that element. Now, let me ask you, what do you think about the dynamic currently going on where people are really championing Taraji P. Henson? There's this emotional outcry and reaction, and there are other celebrities that are actually rallying around Taraji in this moment. But when Monique had similar complaints with, what do we say now what do we say about the treatment of Taraji versus Monique? What are your thoughts on that?
Tone and tenor. And I'll explain. When Monique came out and she made her accusations, she named names. And these names belong to our heroes, our aunties, our uncles, people that we looked up to, Lee Daniels, Oprah. She named them by name. And she was
people that we're going to give the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. Yeah. And she was unapologetic about it. And in that moment, in our culture, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in from outside the culture, let me help you. What happens in the house stays in the house. And so you don't talk about auntie, uncle, and cutting them. You don't do that. That's not what we do. So when Monique took the stance that she did, she became an instant enemy because we don't do that in the culture. Now, switching over to Taraji shed tears. She was emotional, but she said no names. She did not give direct blame. So now we saw this emotion and can I say it like I want to? Can I say what I want to say? Because
say it, George.
And there was also light skin privilege. I had to say that. I just had to say that. And I'm not trying to continue that divisiveness that comes with
colorism. You're actually calling it out. You're actually naming it that is a bias that people have in the treatment between these two women. You're not actually perpetuating it. You're calling it out in this moment and saying you are observing that could be a potential reason why people are giving Taraji better treatment, and that's not okay.
That's not okay. And so in this moment, while Taraji said everything almost verbatim that Monique said, it's the tone and the tenor. It was the delivery, basically. Monique was like, this is what it is. And somebody, who gonna check me, boo? This is what it is. And Taraji was more like, hear me, see me, that kind of thing. And I think that's why
Monique, I want to give this message to Monique really fast. Monique, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you, and I see that you were treated badly, and I do feel like you need your just due, and you have not been honored in the way that you should.
I agree.
But George has brought up a very good point in this conversation that I think in this conversation regarding Color Purple and the cast, I think you might be reaching, because I think Monique knows deep down Oprah is not the girl making catering decisions.
Yeah.
She's not the girl making decisions on where the dressing rooms are placed and how close and how far things are. She's not the girl that's making car ride decisions. So a lot of the complaints that these actors have had are really day-to-day production decisions that have gone wrong, that were discriminatory against them, but aren't necessarily decisions that Oprah would have ever seen. And so someone brought it to her to say, hey, this isn't going right. And I could see what you're saying. So I agree with Monique that I think that the industry does need changing. I think you're just misguided pointing it at Oprah in this moment.